What is the correlation between leadership and human enlightenment?
That's a tricky one, because depending upon who you ask, some people would not even have an opinion on human enlightenment because they wouldn't know, how should I even think about it? Everybody's heard of Socrates and big philosophers and people who have shaped society for hundreds of years, thousands of years. So what's human enlightenment? Depending upon where you're coming from, you could come from a place that said, for some people, human enlightenment is learning more and more how to follow the cultural, religious-based practices and theories that we have learned for generations, even tens of thousands of years these have been evolving, and we know what the truths are. And if you follow the truth, and it's in your heart and in your head, how can you go wrong following the truth? And that must be enlightenment. There's a whole other scheme of things working through societies that says that way of thinking is anachronistic, because you can never get better as long as you're holding on to the past. That you really have to free yourself, stop thinking about myths, about prescriptions, about rules or procedures that people hundreds or thousands of years ago, for their own purposes, decided were useful. But the best thing everybody can do is be very skeptical, particularly in a world of false news now. You got to pick and choose what you really believe and then follow what you really believe, but be very skeptical of everything else. Some would say that's the very problem with society. Now that everybody's becoming skeptical, they're not following the traditions that have created us, who we were, who we are, who we're going to be. We see in the United States, the country now is fragmenting, some people even going backward to other belief systems that were once in place by small groups and then were squeezed out. Those belief systems are coming back in again, and some folks are saying, what are we doing? We're going in the wrong direction. Human enlightenment is how you build on the capacity to perform the responsibilities as human beings in a growing, knowledgeable world, and that knowledge needs to be fact-based. So follow science, follow the latest investments in science and what's really happening, and trust that that will take human beings longer, living and healthier in the long run. And let's not go back to belief systems that never did what they said they were going to do. So we're at a challenge where some people want to go back and some people want to go forward, and we're at a crossroads, and some people will not yield at all. So how we get compromise where people are at a point that they won't yield no matter what? You got to change some minds. But we can see, though, that it's not healthy to always be in a battle over fundamental things about what is enlightenment. And human enlightenment, from my point of view, is it's got to be truth, scientifically based upon the knowledge, the studies, the education, the lived experience of real people. It cannot be based, and it has to pull itself away from philosophies and myths that are no longer standing up to the challenges that they're facing. But a lot of people in the U.S. are not going to tolerate that.